Hello and welcome to Movie Crap Live, starting sort of a couple minutes early. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm there. I don't want to. Anyway, hello and welcome to Movie Crap Live, starting a little early on a different night. Thank you, Cornbread, for telling me to send out the things. Thank you all for being here on a Wednesday. We haven't done a Wednesday in a little bit. It's nice to do a Wednesday. Thank you, Cornbread. No, there's always so much to do, so thank you, because I am a one-man band, as you say, as they say, as someone says. I'll have the song play one more time. I hope everyone's... Oh! Sinram, Jordan... Hello to Sinlam, Jordan Sloflo, Animated Caden Music and Cartoons, Purple Goop, Cornbread, Javier Potello. I think I saw William Ullman up there. I think I saw Austin, Purple Goop, Alter Gobro, I think. I think I saw... Oh, Medela Butterfly. What is up? And Javier Bertello, hello. Oh, hey, what's up, Dan? How's it going? Says Lego Paul Blart Legacy. Lego Paul Blart Legacy the Mall Cop. Wow, before. Okay, all right. Well, first I'm going to like that, and then we got to switch over, of course. How do we do? Oh, yeah, sorry. Hello, and welcome. This is Shirt making this debut here. And welcome to Movie Crap Live, hot off the kitchen, and here to talk about some movie stuff with you. And we do have a first super chat from Paul Blart thing. I know Paul Blart has to be, hello pup as well, the first super chat, apparently. Hope I sound okay. So I will reveal, I don't think anyone got it. I didn't see a notification. So if someone did tweet it before 10:29, I will be open to saying it. But it is, I got the Sour Pink Lemonade Ghost today. I just got it today, so I was like, oh fuck, I need to. So I don't know if we've done this one, but this is the energy drink today. So here we go. There we go. The numbers thing is a dumb YouTube thing. I guess you have to have been like Sinram's had his channel forever, so I guess that's why. I don't know. Yeah, this is to be honest with you, the I think I get gamer shirts because I am a male. That is the only reason. But I do actually play this game. Of the games I do play, this is a game I play regularly, so it's not. I'm not a fake fan because I played more. Hello, Momo. Hello, Will. Oh, we got a good crowd. Anyway, cheers to. Let's go back up. Cheers to Javier Partello. That's pretty. I think I've had this before. I'm pretty sure I have. We'll see. I'm curious. I do want to do a super. After the last stream of the year, I'm going to do okay, YouTube, come on. You set up your so did I, Sinram. Awesome. All right. Listening from work. Hello, Super Dusk. Okay, cool. I was worried. I was like, maybe no one will show up, but this is the best I can do. And but thank you, everyone. Oh wow, Will. I'm surprised. Okay. Yes. We are here on a Wednesday. I do have I'm listening on a train to home. Oh, cool. I like all the train emojis. Bell butterfly. Before we get, I'll just do some small talk stuff. I wanted to talk about a few Whitest Kids You Know things and just like clear up that whole thing. Not that anyone was like, you're fake or something. But oh, hey Nathaniel, I don't know how I missed you there. I saw you earlier. Hey, how's it going, man? Well, I'll talk about that. But so my wife and I watched. Actually, I learned it crazy. Well, I'll take it. My wife and I watched Kramer vs. Kramer because I saw this clip on YouTube, and it was basically like, I can get a job in 24 hours from Dustin Hoffman. And I thought that was like really bizarre, and like all those boomer things, like, oh, just go out and get a job, and that's like what he does in 24 hours. He does do that, which is a ridiculous scene. If you can find the clip, I will post it on the Discord general channel later because it's ridiculous. But my wife had never seen it, and I was like, well, be careful because it's kind of very sexist because it's very much on the dad side to a point where you're like the mom who's played by Meryl Streep has like it's no real character. But the one thing that was really crazy about that movie well, there's a couple things, but the one thing is like Meryl Streep's like looking because they're divorced and stuff. Whoa, okay. It took longer than three because the bank. That's interesting. I haven't listened to those guys in a little bit. I need to get more into them. So if you like them, if you like them, man, I'll check them out more. But the but yeah, in it, like, because Meryl Streep just leaves at the beginning, and you don't really understand like what they had her at, which is weird. It's not structured very well. It is. It's a okay. It's not horrible, but she's like, I watch him from this coffee shop across the street from his school. But anytime they cut to her, she's not like how you sit at a coffee shop, which is like drinking coffee sitting down or like standing because there's not enough seats or something. But she's just like in the window, like this, like a ghoul, like this, just like, and they did it multiple times. It was like nobody went like that. That's weird. Like, don't nobody's gonna be like like a fucking ghost. This is really weird. If you want to know, you want some really horrible behind the scenes stories, just go to the Wikipedia page of Kramer vs. Kramer and scroll down to controversies and read about all the horrible shit Dustin Hoffman did because to Meryl Streep. Because I knew some of it, I didn't know all of it, and I was like, holy fuck. Before I was like, holy fuck, and by the end you're like, how was this? What the fuck? Like, what? Anyway, it was. But the other thing that's shocking is it actually beat Apocalypse Now and All That Jazz for Best Picture, and it was the year Alien came out. And I'm like, that's you picked. Okay, guys. Okay. All right. Okay. Like I just like that was. I don't think it was better than All That Jazz and Apocalypse Now. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think there's any world where that is a better movie. I don't understand. Anyway. Okay, I learned some crazy movie trivia tonight because I do the Cinematrix every day with my wife, and Deborah Winger was one of the people. And then it had on one of the results E.T. and I was like, E.T. Deborah Winger's not in E.T. And I had to Google it. I was like, the fuck are they talking about? And apparently she is. She's the in the Halloween scene. She's the zombie with the dog. Is Deborah Winger? And I've seen E.T. like so many times and just watched documentaries. I never knew that Deborah Winger's in E.T. So Deborah Winger is in E.T. Um, uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Okay, the other thing. So I'll clear up the ways because you know thing because I remember something and then we don't really need to talk about this ever again. To be honest with you. And man, I have a good Paris Hilton thing. It's yeah, I don't know if anyone knows it, but it is very dark. Sorry. Should I don't know if I should tell. Maybe it's annoying to still talk about this. But anyway, I'll just say I remembered recently that one of them, this guy John Covell, who was in the White Kids, but what did not at SVA, but did not go to the show and the group further. He now works for Universal, I believe, as like a marketing guy, I think. He had a movie night in the duplex in the dorms where a lot of the White Kids, lived and hung out. I don't know if Zach Krieger lived there, but I do remember we watched. No problem, man. We watched Exorcist. They did a horror movie night, and they all the ways because I remember showed up and watched Exorcist, and then I don't know if it was the same night or a different night. We watched Tales from the Hood, and that was cool. And I was like, oh, I guess I sort of possibly have watched Exorcist with them. That's the only other thing that is interesting is what they would do. Their sort of scam, and if you know this, and then we will not. I'm embarrassed. I'm talking about this still. Is that they would they weren't because I ran the radio station there. I had to deal with the people who did clubs and stuff. They weren't usually. You'd think the Whitest Kids, because the school would like made it a club. You know what I mean? Um, I chewed you out. I'll always forget you follow me on there and you chewed me out for Jurassic World. I didn't chew you out. Did I chew you? I don't remember. I don't want to say chewed you out. Did I say it sucked or something? I'm curious now what you're talking about. But anyway, no, so what they did is it wasn't one club. They would say there were 5 different clubs and they had they'd like insane funding. And the school kind of knew about it, but they sort of just let it go, to my understanding. They've talked about this in the media since, but I was aware of it. I was aware of it before because I worked there, and I think it was kind of well known, if I recall. But anyway, yeah, that's my end with that. But I just remembered I was like, oh, okay. I possibly could have those neat. And it was the Exorcist like special edition, which is not as good. But the guy admitted he couldn't find a better version. So it was. But anyway, all right, no more what is kids you know things. I do have a story with them later, and we will get to that, and it is crazy. However, let's just get into it. I'm a little early, and I'm feeling good about that. I don't know if I video stuff. Apologies. Um, you were being too kind, Will. You were being too kind. It's probably like a 2 year right. So what's going on with videos? Why the last two are sort of just like fill-in type of things is honestly because I'm working on root removal, and I actually had to restructure it, which I don't usually do because I didn't like. I said the description a little too late and putting all the beeps in and all that stuff. So and other projects I'm working on, they're a little more ambitious. I didn't want it to be this way. Uh I wanted Rude Removal to come out last night, but I like fell asleep and I restructured it, and there was like too many things to fix. So I was like, this is not happening. So it is Rude Removal will be the next video. It might not be tomorrow. It might be Friday, just because there's a lot going on tomorrow and all that. And there are other more ambitious videos I'm working on, but yeah, so that's why it's been a little like sort of reactions and stuff like that. There were videos those two were like ones I wanted to come out and needed to come out, but I'm sure you're waiting for movies and other stuff, and I'm sort of working on these slightly more ambitious. Let me just say slightly more ambitious, but it takes a little longer when you need to edit a little longer. So, as for throwbacks, Shin Godzilla, which seems like people liked watching that. And my one on Friday will be the King of the Hill Theater PSA, which I'm surprised I didn't do a throwback to already. And then I think it's was it Whisper? Am I saying this right? Whisper of the Heart. Why am I like did I say that right? The title of the movie I think is on Sunday. But there'll be other videos this weekend and stuff like that. I'm cooking right now. I'm working on some stuff, but there won't be a video after this until Rude Removal. I just want that out. I'm proud of it so far. I just want to sometimes Ramiku Haruku's trying to help on video editing if I can get it. I think you have to like video editing, but my one advice when you're starting is like get a coffee or energy drink. And I also think this is a trick that I would listen to. I would not listen to music while editing, and that was a fucking stupid mistake. And now I always listen to music while editing, and it goes a lot faster. So pick an album. I would also recommend pick an album that like pumps you up if you need to get a lot done, and then you can focus more. I did electronic music for a little bit. Carl Cox was a favorite for a little bit. Now I just put on Spotify and put on an album, and it's like whatever mood I'm in. But I would just say like try to focus, but put on music that will get you focused. Like there's a bunch of uh, um, I don't know. There's a bunch of albums that I would like. I'd listen. I would literally when I wrote a paper in school, I would put on the Clash's London Calling, and by the end of that album, that paper was done every time. So if you have an album like that, the Clash's London Calling is a great album. You should listen to it. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a greatest albums of all time list without it. However, find your version of that if you have an album that like you can do that with and has good momentum. But I don't know what you're into, so pick on your own stuff. But it does. I think now I'm like used to it, but like also when I was younger, it was harder. So that it's a little easier now. Not to. It does take a minute to get used to it, but man, I had it on double decker VCRs, and that was like I remember nailing a cut and just like screaming. And people, my parents were like, "Calm down." I'm like, "You don't know how fucking hard this is." You're like, pause on pause, pause on pause, pause on. I did it. I did it. Star Stalking was edited on a double decker VCR, but I would be up like it was by the time I think there's certain points where like you just like let go of things, but it was like ugh, whatever. But I tried my best. A little better now. You can get stuff for free like a CapCut. CapCut's honestly not so. I like CapCut a lot. All right, let's get into it. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, where I'll drink this amazing energy drink and it'll give me more energy and hopefully not fall asleep and crash, which is an extreme possibility. Cornbread. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. I think it's because I chose a black shirt, and I think but yeah, I'm so I was actually trying to fix that earlier. Is that better? And it like, oh, you edit. Well, where are we looking? It's just like always. What about this? Okay, that's better. Okay, we'll just be red until you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know why that. I think it's because I have a black shirt, but whatever. Oh man, I trust me. Get some icy hot, or I have cool and heat. The Walgreens ripoff. All right. Anyway, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. Either when you give me a super chat and I drink my energy drink and it keeps me going because I need it, or as well as what was I going to say? Or my Patreon, which is linked below in the description, has all sorts of cool stuff like you want more power in the movie review vote, postcards, for my $10 and up patrons. You get access to my public access show, which was only available through my Patreon, as well as my commentary series and all sorts of exclusive content. You also get notifications, even if you're a free member, if I upload a video, which is always nice. You get a little email there and all sorts of cool things like that. It helps me to continue to do what I do here, as I'm only one dude and I try to do my best, but the more support I have, the more I can possibly do. So, and also, I put up flyers, stickers, all sorts of stuff like that. So, I know people say you can support the channel, but I very much do. And I thank you to anyone who is financially able to do so. I'm very grateful for you guys' support. You guys are really wonderful. I have a really cool audience. Um, and yeah, and even if you're not subscribed and you're just watching, because I know there's people who don't even have accounts who watch and stuff. Thank you very much for being here. I've always liked making content for all sorts of people, and I'd like to continue to do so. So wherever you're watching or however you're watching, just thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Okay, now let's talk about the Discord. The Discord, which is linked below, is an amazing community. If you like everyone in the chat right here, that's right beside me there, and you would like to interact with them, there is a cool. The Discord is really amazing. It has general as movie crap discussion. It has movie watches every week, which I'm not sure which one they are going to do, but they're going to do one of them. And it, they're doing Follow That Bird. Oh fuck! I kind of want to go there for that, but I'm sure I cannot. But awesome, they're doing Follow That Bird. They're doing Follow That Bird this Saturday. All sorts of cool stuff like Cornbread has tries to predict the thumbnails. You can talk about video games. You can do artist self promo. There's the licensed playing card thing. I have these Fort McHenry ones, which I'm probably going to post for posterity, but I'm not a big America person. I don't like, but to me, it's just a playground my parents took me to a lot. So anyway, I will post them just for consistency, but I need to get cooler playing cards. You should join that. It's a cool service. It's the Discord I am most active in, literally. All right. I think that's all the stuff. Let's just get into it. So, kind of I think they're cool cards. It's also like if my mom gives me something, I'm like, oh cool, my mom got it for me. Which is true. I think it's kind of neat. I actually don't know. They were just in the bag of stuff she gave me, so I'm assuming. But anyway, all right. Kpop Demon Hunters, the story that came out, I believe it was Matt Bellany. Thank you, Will. You guys are cool. Thank you. But yeah, it is a cool story. I forget who came out, but it's basically that Sony sold Kpop Demon Hunters to Netflix and has only made about a $20 million profit. I guess it cost about $100 million, and I'm assuming they got $120 million. Now, Netflix considers it they're frozen, which I would say that's a good analogy in terms of I don't think anyone expected it to be that big. You know what I mean? I think now it's it's going to end up being the biggest um movie in Netflix history, basically. But because of that, they're making it they're frozen and stuff like that. But the big question is, how are they going to follow it up? Even though the live action remake bullshit is still happening, and we're seeing the sing along release, which apparently is sold out over 1,000 showtimes already. My daughter would want to go. I'm not sure we're considering it, but it's like I don't know. Anyway, so what is going to happen with the future is a major question. No one seems to know the answer to it. One is that Sony will extremely overcharge them for any other movies, which, to be honest, I think they should. As just a business practice, that's what you should do for your artists and stuff like that. And obviously, they really much want more K-pop Demon Hunters, and they want to get the directors back and all that stuff. And Netflix has been known to just fork over the money. And I think if it's your most popular movie ever, you can just fork over the Brinks truck there. But I think the other thing, and this is okay, so well, they confirmed it wasn't being planned, but then with this reporting, people were bringing it up again. So I'm like, you guys bring this up a bit too much. So part of me thinks like it's still under discussion. They just denied it so we wouldn't get too mad. But I don't know. It was brought up in the reports I kept reading. However, the other thing that does concern me is the fact that they're like, we are going to make these sequels. They have not worked out a deal with Sony, and they're very much, well, we're going to make these sequels. And I'm being very speculative here, but I think it's probably in my mind being discussed to make sequels to K-pop Demon Hunters and not have Sony involved, which in my mind would be a disaster. That would be that would be horrible if they did that. But I can imagine them going like, we have to have a sequel. It's the most popular thing we've ever done, and it's just going to get worse. Like because I do think, because my daughter's really into it. I am really into it as well, but my daughter's really into it, and I've heard a lot of kids know it very well. Is that I do think it was their real success was not just making an awesome movie and K-pop fans like it, but getting the kids who would watch, Descendants 400 times to like it as well. And that is going to keep this movie on their charts for maybe the rest of the year. Um, so I do think there's a lot of pressure for them to do something, but I really hope they work out something with Sony, because I do not want a Sony animation uh, less K-pop Demon Hunters. But I honestly do think that is something that, since they don't have a deal, um, but I mean, they did sell it. Um, but I I don't know. It seems like that. I mean, they sold it and all the rights. So I think Netflix has enough rights to do something. But I think that would be like really foolish. But like the fact that it's so extremely popular, and I think we're going to hear that it's selling out so much. Now, I don't know if Netflix is going to report numbers. We'll talk about that more in box office. How a lot of these people, um, well, that's awesome. K-pop with Godzilla crossover. I love it. But will there be headlines, and then the pressure's on Netflix to deal with Sony? But will Sony just be like, oh, well, fuck this? Like, we can, I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this all works out. But right now, the fact that like Sony publicly, it's known that they got screwed over. I think they'll probably want to both save face. And also, if you're a company, you're like, I didn't make anything, and this thing is like a huge monster beast of a movie. Like, I honestly sort of consider it the movie of the summer. I know there's like, Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth, and I mean, Lilo and Stitch is probably the actual movie of the summer, which is depressing, but I think it's sort of the one people keep talking about, and I think like they're going to. But the fact that they're talking about sequels and they don't have a deal with Sony worries me a bit. I'm not saying they'll like. I think Netflix is fairly good at animation. I don't want them to do this without Sony, but the fact that this is a thing that I wanted to just bring up to say, like, that's, I think I can read into that and think, like, there's a possibility. I also, they usually just pay out. They're known for, like, here's money, just do whatever. I kind of suspect that'll probably be the end result, but the fact that this is so popular makes me think, like, I don't want a subpar sequel. And I hope they understand that. But It's a little weird that like they didn't. I don't know. I think it's like someone found this out and released it. But if I was them, I would like. But I am curious. I'm also curious about the sing along thing. Are they gonna have like the bouncing ball shit? Because I don't. I don't really. I'm not super. Not super into that. Although I do really want to see it in theaters. I think there's nothing coming out, and theater owners are a little worried about the next like 6 weeks. I think it's up until Wicked probably, that they're worried and like just put out K-pop Demon Hunters for 6 straight weeks. Why the fuck not? Anyway, just we don't. I don't want to see any words. I can anyway. I don't know. I do love that movie. I think it is. Yeah, I guess it'd be the movie this summer. Anyway, all right, man. Okay, now I'll get to the Paris Hilton thing. The Frankenstein, another Netflix thing. Frankenstein on October is going to be released. Is going to have a release window where it comes out on October 17th in theaters, and limited release, and then will premiere on November 7th on Netflix. I do not understand why this would not come out on Halloween. Like what? What? I don't. Whatever. I am really curious about this movie. I don't know. Um, I don't know if Frankenstein. I don't know. I'm curious to see this. It does seem more like Crimson Peak kind of Del Toro, but I also think like he deserves it. And I'm actually curious because Pinocchio really like does different things with the subject matter, but it really worked. So like if anyone is gonna play around with tropes in a classic story, I'm actually very for him doing it. Um, but we'll see. I will say this and Highest to Lowest. I actually looked at going back to Movie Pass because right now I'm on Regal and I have to pick between sort of four theaters, and I am sort of thinking like maybe my life would be a lot easier if I had like every theater in New York for the most part. So I need to figure that out. Possibly, maybe we'll see. But I think Del Toro and all this. I don't know the fact that we'll talk about Netflix and theatrical distribution later with the Paramount thing. The fact that this is becoming like a major issue and you could lose major filmmakers to the fourth movie studio, isn't I think they should just shut the fuck up and like figure this shit out. Like it's just like you just figure it out because I do feel like this is a problem that's mounting and mounting. Even with I mean the thing with K-pop Demon Hunters, would it have been as big in theaters? I don't necessarily think so. I think streaming helps it, but it's the same thing with Encanto. And Encanto like came out in theaters, but it wasn't a hit still streaming. So I'm not sure like they need to really figure that out because they really don't have a good answer, and this isn't a great answer right now, presently. Okay, so this is the last. Okay, Archie. There's going to be a new Archie comics movie. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are producing, and we don't really know what this is, but apparently comic book writer Tom King, who wrote the Supergirl comic that the Supergirl movie that is going to come out next summer is based on, and it sounds like he's like a lot of his materials getting adapted and stuff. So Hollywood's interested in him, and he pitched a take for Archie for the big screen. I'm a little like, didn't we just have Riverdale and stuff? I'm a little confused about how you can do that, but I'm assuming it's a good take because people say he's a good writer. So we'll just like do that. So yeah. Before I do the Paris Hilton thing, any super chats would appreciate it. If we get to every $20 multiple, I will do the flashy things. I forget if I said that. I'll just say it now before I say this thing. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this. Paris Hilton cartoon. Okay, so you'd probably be like, Jim, you're not going to talk about this Paris Hilton cartoon, Paris and Pups. And normally I wouldn't. Normally I wouldn't. However, I heard an interesting story, actually, from the whitest. Sorry, from the whitest kids on a stream that was just Trevor Moore and Zach Krager, and I will tell that story, and I will post. I was not going to tweet what I know until I wanted to do it here for y'all. I wanted to do it here for y'all because you come out and all that stuff, and I thought you deserve this story, and it's a good one. Okay, so this is basically I think is trying to be Gabby's Dollhouse sort of without the live action parts. I hope it doesn't have Paris Hilton live action parts, and then her and her dogs in this house. So apparently I apparently, according to Trevor Moore, I will show my source later. He he went to her house and he saw that she had a in her LA place. There was a house, like a nice mansion made for dogs, and there were security cameras, so you'd see like a dog chilling on a couch, what looked like a dog sized couch, like to scale for dogs and stuff. And he thought that was really funny. And so months later, for whatever reason, he comes back to Paris Hilton's house and he knows about these cameras. And he's like, um, oh, I want to see the dog cams. And he goes, where's all the dogs? What happened? And he asks somebody, and someone's like, oh man, well, the coyotes came and basically found the house and killed all the dogs. And he goes, he killed all the dogs. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I mean, we have tapes. Or I think he has tapes where he's mentioning like he wants those tapes of the dogs being murdered in the house by coyotes because they were apparently all killed in the house that has security cameras. So now when I see this, I just heard this story like 3 days ago or something, because of I haven't seen Weapons yet, but I was looking up what is because things because we've been talking about him, and they were joking about Zach Kreger and Trevor Moore, and I will post this on this. I have to look for it, but I just think it is like epically hilarious. I mean, dog murder is not funny, but but that you made a kid show about dogs in a house, and I knew that anecdote is fucking hilarious. I love it. I love it. I don't think that's going to be an episode in her show, but I haven't watched it yet. Maybe that's the finale because where do you go from that? That would be an epic finale. All the dogs get murdered in the kids show. Like no, sorry. That's just uh yeah, anyway, I learned that, and now anytime I watch people were posting it and making jokes, I just went that's all I could think of is dogs being murdered. And they were talking about how you should match like music to it and have like Hello and Blinty and have like the dogs being murdered by coyotes in a house. I'm sure that looked like insane because apparently it looked insane before, but then it looked even more insane. But anyway, I don't know if anyone posted that. Like I've heard their Twitch stream clips of more people have been watching them. So I was like, I'm sure someone has brought this up. So I'll tweet it tomorrow. But when I do, one of you can if you want to. When I do, yeah, that's I just thought it was like I don't know how I phrase that in a tweet or a skeet, but I was just like, um, yeah, I'm really like I don't think Paris and Pups is gonna be like a hit or anything, but like anytime I saw it today, I just thought about coyotes killing dogs in a weird doghouse. So the thing is oh, uh yeah, the other sorry. Um the other kid shows don't have that kind of background. So anyway, sorry. I just like that's where my mind went. I don't know if that's weird, but that's what happened. Okay. We learned I will get do should I do okay, I'll do this one that just broke today, and I guess you guys let me know if I should do Paramount or Marvel first. It came out today that the director of Kaido vs. Acme and the creator of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off has made this movie called Hex, which landed at 20th Century Fox, which I'm sure Warner's is like, oh fuck, I guess he's not working with us anymore. Which is understandable. I'm curious like how often that's going to be a problem with them, but apparently it is a unique buddy action movie that has a time travel element. But we'll see what the deals with that. But those two teaming up sounds interesting. I don't know the director stuff who did Coyote vs. Acme, but I guess I will later. But that's cool that they teamed up. That sounds like an uh, interesting project to me at least. I think that sounds pretty cool. I should do Marvel first. Okay, the Paramount stuff I think is interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have put that in the thumbnail. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So Marvel. So I have like I do have a bunch of stuff for Marvel. Apparently the Avengers Doomsday has a shit ton of problems on set. There's been a lot of oh, he directed the second Bay Ninja Turtles. Oh well, now I don't like him as much. That's. I mean, that had its moments, but that's I didn't know that. Okay, so the thing with the Marvel stuff, supposedly there was a onset kind of like argument between two actors. No one's sure who. There's rumors it could be anyone who could be on that set, and there is like a lot of like fluctuation. There's been things. The one thing that I thought that it has been like 100% confirmed actually, um, is um is that supposedly, and this explains the Fantastic Four end credit sequence or mid credit sequence, is supposedly like Robert Downey Jr. was on set, right, and then Doomsday was, or sorry, Robert Downey Jr. was on set, but he had a body double playing Doctor Doom, but he would be like off camera, like doing the voice and stuff, and then they realized after 2 weeks like that sucked. Um, uh, so I which is insane to me that they did it for that long and then we're like, okay, this doesn't work, and now he's putting on the suit and stuff like that. So uh yeah, I was a little surprised that they did that for 2 weeks. They're paying this guy like what, $80 million or something, uh a movie, and they just wasted 2 weeks. This production sounds like a real fucking mess. But it just like, yeah, he was, Robert Downey Jr. was using a Doombot effectively, but that's been reported. Uh, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of tension on set because they're changing the script a lot, they're adding things to it, they're messing around with techniques and stuff. I mean, maybe that experimentation will work out for them because they weren't really doing that before with Marvel stuff. But yeah, the fighting on set I thought was kind of bizarre to me. But hello. Will said, thank you for super chats. Will said, not terribly impressed with Dave Green's stuff. Earth to Echo and Second Bay Ninja Turtles were pretty bad. Willing to give Coyote vs. Acme a chance. Maybe James Gunn's script is the key. I so yeah, this is all making me less excited for Coyote vs. Acme, if we're being honest with you. And cheers to you, Will. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your generosity. Um, oh boy, that was good. But yeah, that doesn't. I mean, I still believe in it. I think it could be a cool movie. Um, but yeah, that's not. I didn't realize he did Earth Tag. You know, I didn't look up the director of this. We're all like, "Yay, Coyote vs. Acme." We didn't look up who directed it. Embarrassing. But yeah, I guess I've seen one of his movies. I haven't seen Earth to Echo. Which I've heard people. I remember. I think I wrote a tweet. It was like, I can't wait till like 2035 when BuzzFeed writes a list like 10 things you didn't know about Earth to Echo, because the kids who are kids then will grow up. But I never saw it, and my kids haven't asked to see it at least. But yeah, there is. We keep hearing trouble on set of Avengers Doomsday, but hearing like they killed 2 weeks with the body double, which is makes me think like that's what was going on in the Fantastic Four scene. I don't actually know that. I want to clarify that, but that's just sort of like what I get from it. But the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is like fucking around to that degree, the fact that people are fighting, the fact that like several reporters have compared it to the Fast and Furious films and like the ego drama on that, is just like, I don't know. The more and more I think about it, the more I think like Marvel needs to do a reset with all this bullshit. And these aren't even like the main Avengers, most of them. And supposedly like Deadpool is very much gonna be in the Avengers. I think we talked about it last time, but like I am confused why people find that like, oh, this is a Hail Mary. I'm like, no, they just announced it late, dude. Like I really don't believe like they had a finished movie and like, all right, let's bring Deadpool in. Like, they're obviously we're gonna have Deadpool and also Wolverine in this, especially if they're having all the Fox. I really don't understand people making a thing out of it. The other thing that broke today, Tremel Tillman has joined Spider-Man Brand New Day. We don't know who he's playing. Some people just think he just did it through a publicist and it's a small role, but who the fuck knows? But yeah, Avengers Doomsday sounds like a fucking mess. The other big news, and is in the thumbnail, is Mahershala Ali in is not voicing Blade in Marvel Zombies, but Blade is in Marvel Zombies. But he'll be voiced by Todd Williams. Most of the time they get voices of the Marvel characters, and I'm a little surprised like they wouldn't even let him do that. I think it also adds to like the fact that we keep hearing them not getting Blade. It's like really bizarre to me. It's just really weird that they can't even let him do that. I don't understand the Blade thing. Like, I mean, I've heard they were saying, "Oh, he was busy." I'm like, he was busy doing a voice thing. Like, how many voice? I've seen those things, and usually, like, there's not a ton of lines. So, like, I don't know. Like, I find it so fucking bizarre to me, that you would not have him just do this very simple voice role. That seems to be fucking ridiculous to me. Like, you just give him this at least. But like, I don't know if he. I also, by the way, but I will get to you in a second. Well, I'm sorry. Uh, like I've noticed there is no talk of him being in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. Have anyone read any reports of that? Like to me, it's like just put him in that. Just do that. Just do that. Like, and I honestly think someone at Marvel just lost his number and they're not sure what to do, and they're like, oh fuck, what do we do? Like, should we call us? Does Wesley Snipes have his number? Like, will that be rude? Wesley Snipes has his number, right? Like, I don't know. Sometimes you work with someone and then you realize it's been a while and they don't have your number and you're like, oh, that's weird. And I honestly think it's just that at this point. It's like something, it can't be, it's either like, they're evil and racist or something, or they're just stupid. And I kind of think it's the second one. Will says Earth to Echo was the answer to the parents who thought Josh Trank's Chronicle was too edgy, except my dad. He was cool enough to take me to Chronicle back in the day. Chronicle is cool. Um, that is cool. Okay, well, props to your dad for taking you to Chronicle. Cheers to him. Now all this Earth to Echo talk. I really haven't heard about that movie since, was it 2012? I think it was 2012. I mean, I didn't see it. In fairness, I think that takes us above the. Um. All right, we're above $20. So I will do the. Are you just gonna be red? Okay, well that's no fun. Okay, then we. Okay, now multiple colors. Are you gonna do it right? Sorry, I talk to technology. It's the only one who talked to me, bro. Um, 2014, really? Huh. Okay. I mean, didn't see it in all fairness, but um, Secret Wars might be split into three movies. I've heard that, but I think the problem is they're scared of another Avatar. So I think like Disney's probably like just keep these on the Christmas thing. I'm really curious how this will work out with the. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think we're not going to get a trailer till around Brand New Day, but the fact that we're already hearing all this nonsense. I mean, how much is this going to cost? But whatever. All right. Other stuff. This is sort of more of a labor thing, but Disney and Marvel have admitted they are leaving Georgia for London because of insurance reasons and health reasons. A lot of people thought like I was in Atlanta for MomoCon and in 2018, 19, I forget, people who did production there were telling me they were worried because of the abortion laws. It's not, well, that's part of it. That's what made them think. But then they're like, oh shit, we don't have to pay health insurance in England because it's like universal there. And a lot of people were like, yeah, we were waiting for like when this was going to drop. So I do think America is going to lose more jobs just because of their fucking dumbass health insurance shit. And I'm kind of curious when this is going to become a bigger and bigger issue. But yeah, apparently they just went to London because of the money thing. So I think that's kind of, but before, like, I'm not sure how long they were filming in Georgia. It's sort of been a gradual progression in the last 5 years. I know, like, when they fight in Wakanda in the end battle, that field is in Georgia. Like, when I went to Atlanta the first time, someone gave me directions to get there. I never did, but maybe I should. But I think, like, a lot of these states don't realize, like, I think government doesn't, things like, oh, we'll do it. You'll have to just fucking take it, bitch. And then I think they don't realize people go, I'll just like not deal with you and do something else. Like I think more people should like if you're gonna be a capitalist, that doesn't mean everyone has to deal with your dumb shit. It means like people will go to somewhere else that is a better deal. That's anyway. Whatever. I mean, this is basically what happened there. So Bo DeMeo, he's back, still talking. Everyone's like, he's roasting Feige, except not. Really. So Bo DeMeo, everyone's favorite guy who really chose to do OnlyFans as a Patreon. I mean, I know it was set that way, but like whatever, and was fired again for egregious misconduct. Made a lot of claims recently. Basically that Kevin Feige was jealous of him and didn't like the attention X-Men 97 got, and he claimed in fact Kevin and his vaunted Parliament at Marvel didn't even attend the X-Men 97 premiere. One of the crew members was in Lou the other day and mentioned it. Lou had no idea what he was talking about. And notice how everyone at Marvel talks like Deadpool and Wolverine put X-Men back in the modern zeitgeist. No one's saying that, Bodemeo. No one's saying that. Why would you think that? He keeps going on about how they're going to mess up the X-Men stuff and the mutant saga and how he was really great and that they resent him for doing that. Here's the thing, like and he spent $7,000 on a crew party, which I don't think there's any evidence of this crew party happening. I couldn't find any, but he says he spent $7,000 of his own money because Marvel refused to have a crew party. And I was like, so the crew you sexually harassed, that crew, like they came to your party and you spent $7,000 on it? Like what? Like I don't really get like why this gets publicized, and I actually consider not talking about it because I think this guy is like just like certifiable at this point that he's like making claims about. It's like if you don't work at a place anymore and you're making all these claims about what the boss is doing, uh but Jesus, this guy. I mean, I think he made a good X-Men 97, but I also think he like did like too much in that season. Like up until like the Genosha episode is really good. I will give him that. He did a great job, but it's just like I don't know. A lot of his claims I'm like, are you even gonna I don't know if he was like, hey, I heard the crew was gonna have a party and was having trouble paying for it. As an amends, I gave them $7,000. I did not show up. That would be like, oh, okay. I can see that. You know what I mean? And it's just like very weird. I also like I'm not a big people who spend a lot on parties are unique, kind of interesting. If it's not like a big party, you know the kind of you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's your birthday and you're anyway, I don't know. So I'm not communicating this well. You can have a party, but you know what I mean when you're spending thousands of fucking dollars. But he claimed claimed Feige was threatened. Um which again, how would he know? He was fired a while ago. Like, how would he know he's threatened by the success of X-Men 97? That's like very, you're making shit up. So I read all his claims. I was just like critical thinking wise, how the fuck how does he know any of this? Like that's the part that doesn't. He's like, oh, I heard it from a guy. Like, you ever work somewhere and like a guy who got fired or quit, like keeps messaging you about gossip, and you're like, the first week you're like, yeah, okay, you know. And then when it's like keeps going on, like I have black people for that. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come on, like message me about movies or something. But like, I don't even think this is like that I'm breaking an NDA. It's just like I think this is pathetic. Like I don't know. I think it's kind of sad that he could say like I don't think they would do what I would do, but it's like no one's written a script. Like we don't even know. Like that's why they haven't cast anyone. Like they don't. It's like those people are like, oh, it's definitely Aaron Taylor Johnson who's going to be Bond, and you're like, based on Watch Deal. I don't. All right, I'm gonna change this back. Where are we? Was it red? Okay, be red. Red for now until the next. If we get to another one, then I'll do it again. All right, now let's go. I'm not sure. I feel like I'll just talk about DC and then we'll go back up to Paramount. Sorry. Um, Reminder to stay safe and clear of Hurricane Aaron. Everyone, what? Wait, what? There's a Hurricane Aaron. Where's it? What? East Coast. I live on there. What? What? What's CNN telling me? Don't make any noise. I'm on a stream. I don't want to get in trouble. What? Oh, the Outer Banks. Yeah. Whoa, I didn't know about this. Thank you. See, this is why I should live stream the news. The news. Thank you, Malcolm. Sorry, I really didn't. There's too many. That's scary. Okay. Anyway, let's. Yeah, everyone, please. I will stay safe. I didn't know I was supposed to be staying safe. I usually don't get up here, but I'm still. I mean, I'm not. North Carolina is a bit away, so I feel a little okay. All right, let's talk about DC, and then we'll move on to Paramount, and then I might do two things between. I guess I'm sort of bumping around where I had it organized, but you guys are cool. Are we cool? We're cool. It's cool. All right. Okay, DC. So the big thing is about Batman 2. The big thing that came out, and I actually did see this tweeted by some journalists before I think Joe Snyder revealed it in his thing. He was told by someone else, which he admitted. I've noticed people are always weird about him, and he's weird too, so I get it. But he wrote that apparently during the press junket for Caught Stealing, which I do. Why is the Jane's Addiction song "Been Caught Stealing" not in that? Is it in the movie? Like it better be in the movie. I'm gonna be really. I know it's obvious, but like, how can you not? Anyway, but apparently, they were told. The journals were told Zoe Kravitz is not in Batman 2, and please do not ask her about it. She doesn't know anything. Um, which is kind of crazy. Also, to say that to the press, they also apparently didn't say like, also don't tell people about it because that's what I had heard from other journalists I follow. Um, which is kind of crazy, but also like a lot of people brought up like Anne Hathaway was only in one Batman movie as Catwoman. Uh, Michelle Pfeiffer was only in one Batman movie as Catwoman, and Halle Berry was only in one movie as Catwoman. So great tradition there. But um, I think that's possible. There's always this Robin talk that keeps me going back and forth. It could also be like they don't want to get into she has a smaller role. She got pissed off that like it was a smaller role, and she's like, "Fuck this." So we'll see like what's going on. I think also the delay of the script and the shooting schedule could have also done that, but we really don't know. But I mean, this is what her publicists literally told journalists, which to me was like fucking weird. I don't know why you say that. You could have just said we're not commenting on. She's not talking about Batman 2, which is like fine, but a lot of people joke James Gunn will clear it up because he's on social media. I don't know what James Gunn. I like him as a filmmaker. Just please, dude, please, like, stay off social media. Like, I don't know how to like. I know various other journalists have gotten really upset, but I'm just like, it's fucking embarrassing. Like, it's the worst part of any movie podcast I listen to is like they have to talk about James Gunn, and I can tell they don't want to talk about it, but because he's so notable, you have to. It's like the worst situation. She is coming back for the Lego Batman video game. Well, hey, at least they can get her. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Will said, not the most important news in the world, but Alex Winter's Freaked Restoration is now available for pre-order. Just ordered my copy. Cannot wait to see Freaked 4K this September. I don't know if I will get to get it, but I will say the ads for Waiting for Godot are all over with Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are all over the subway right now, and it's like, man, this is like you've gotten old when because Bill and Ted I think came out when I was in early elementary school, and now they're in Waiting to Godot. So it's like to me, uh I'm more in the way. I see him every day right now. I need to take a picture of it for you guys because it's just weird. Anyway, cheers, Jewel. Thank you for your generosity tonight. I very much appreciate it. But you guys should get the 4K Freak. That film, I should actually mention this. Films like that very much need the support. So if you're between the 4K of Freaked and of a movie that will get re-released again, I would say get Freaked because that getting released um, it doesn't happen a lot. So give it support so that other distributors or Shout Factory or whomever's doing it is like, oh shit, we got to do Freak Tour. Why? What the? That was a weird notification. Okay. All right. Sorry, computer. I'm not good at filtering. Also, Greg Fraser apparently is not shooting Batman 2. He's focused on the Beatles thing. I also think this is because it took them so long to write a script. People's availability changed at a certain point. They're like, I'm not waiting around forever for you fucking do this. I like Greg Fraser, but let's be real. I think he is very much in the um kind of like post Chris Nolan kind of thing. Like I do think he's visually very interesting, but like how dark and like, it's like he's not Deakins or something. Like I don't know. I like him, but like I don't like how like dark some of this cinematography is. So I wouldn't mind somebody else. But I would say like Bill Pope, but Bill Pope shot the How to Train Your Dragon remake, and that was horrible. So I think I don't know. I need to era releasing The Mask with Jim Carrey in for. I didn't know that Super Dusky. I need to revisit The Mask. I saw it in theaters when it came out, actually. All right. James Gunn has revealed he has a story treatment, a 60-page story treatment for the Superman saga, whether that's one movie or not. He said we will get going on that soon, which is a weird thing to say since he also publicly was like, I'm not going to make anything without a completed script. But a treatment, usually how it does work, it's treatment, outline, script, or treatment is just to convince the studio. It's very confusing, and it sounds like he is. One screenwriter I saw was like, I think what he's really doing is I'm going to pitch this treatment to the studio and then write the scripts of the whole thing and then go into production, which is what he should have clarified, but that's not really how he said it. And I think because everyone's like sick of his shit, like everyone's like, why would you say it that way? So it's just like, anyway, nobody hates James Gunn movie wise. They're just like, please make less public statements because like this is the thing that like he could have like, I'm working on like pitching, even though it sounds like he can just have the go ahead. It sounds like Zaslav will let him, and we'll see what the Superman saga means. To me, like the biggest mistake they could make, and I'm serious about this, and it's the mistake the Snyderverse made with Man of Steel, is make a second one. Like my favorite Superman movie growing up was Superman 2. Like someone make a Superman sequel. I do not understand why nobody makes a Superman sequel. It's Superman in a second one. You don't have to have Zod. Have Brainiac. Like finally do the Brainiac thing. Just give us Superman 2. Like I don't want Superman teaming up with anybody. Just please stop. Just I don't fucking care. Just Superman, Brainiac. You can have the B tier DC people. Like that's fine, but just like no Superman, Batman, or anything like that. Just like Superman 2. Just do that. I know there's already a Superman 2. Call like Superman dot dot. I don't Man of Steel, or this time we'll just do Fleischer Brothers stuff. I don't know. Just like don't. I really don't understand. It seems like a pretty simple studio decision. Everyone's like, I don't know. It seems a little obvious. I'm like, well, it's fucking Superman. Um. I mean, okay, Superman and Supergirl maybe, but I really just want. I don't look. I got. We all look. Batman v Superman. I don't know. I recommend watching the new trailer for the Raoul Peck documentary. I believe he's the guy who did I Am Not a Negro. It looks kind of like Adam Chris documentary in that it's a movie about how technology is going to end the world. Oh, I really liked. I saw another one of his documentaries. Anyway, thank you for that. I will check that out, man. Thank you for telling me that. And cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you, Will. Thank you. I like that it's Dumoulin. Next level YouTube name, man. Are we at the? Oh, we are at 40. So I will do. I will. I saw the Letterbox $1,000,000. I don't know. Maybe some days I'm like, should I get on Letterbox? But I know I won't be. Maybe I should just do the stars, and you can be like, oh, Jim watched Kramer vs. Kramer. So the other DC, that's actually okay. I will try to check that out and talk about it next week because I don't. That's interesting, man. I'll look that up. I didn't know. I lost track of him. Is it Raoul Peck? Am I right about? Did I say that right? I just mentioned. I thought it was Raoul Peck, filmmaker. Yes. What did I see by him? I saw another one. I'm forgetting. Anyway, sorry. Thank you for mentioning that, for real. I like it when you guys mention stuff I didn't even hear about that. So thank you, man. Um, so there's a lot of talk. Will Harley Quinn come back to the DC movies as, or will Margot Robbie come back as Harley Quinn in the DC things? There's a lot of talk of like, oh, well, is Harley Quinn being empowered bad? Do we want? Well, okay. This is an argument I think is stupid when you really think about it, because in my mind, she would always leave Joker, and like her with Poison Ivy in the car. That episode was like a classic episode. Like she would always like reject the Joker and then come back, kind of thing. So a lot of people like they want more of the Puddin one and less of the Margot Robbie one. But I'm like, yeah, but it also made her a fucking movie star. Clearly, people like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. There's talk that she could come back, and James Gunn has actually. I will say he has been a little loosey goosey on this. He's like, maybe she will come back. I think it's also because she's a huge star. Um, um, oh, Adam Curtis. Thank you. Sorry about that. Adam Curtis, not Adam Chris. Um, but Harley Quinn. We'll see. But there is actual talk, and like other people who worked in DC, everyone's being sort of mum about it. So I'm kind of curious if they will bring her back. But if they're bringing her back, is Batman involved in the DC thing? That seems to be the big question that every movie press person wants to bring up too much. I sort of like, if I'm running DC, I would be like Marvel and be like, why don't we build up everybody else and be like X-Men, and I when I need to cash the Batman check when things are down, I have it in storage. You know what I mean? Like you can just like let Matt Reeves do his thing, and then like, oh look, here's Batman. Things aren't working out so good. To me that's what you do. Is That's what Marvel did. Two things, and then we will talk about Paramount. So if anyone, I wish I could do more timestamps, and I apologize to you viewers. But if you are doing them, you can literally go Marvel, DC, Paramount, and then other assorted news if you would like to. I'm Anyway. If anyone wants to, I would like to do it more. It's just my life is always something going on, for real. I went to Tubi and checked out the Looney Tunes thing. It is really great. It acts like it's like one season or four. I scrolled for a while, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of older stuff. If you're like, I would just like to watch Looney Tunes tonight, and you don't have MeTV Tunes, or don't like what they're playing on MeTV Tunes, if we're being real here, you can go to Tubi, and they're all there. It's fucking awesome. I really highly recommend it. Please go to Tubi and watch Looney Tunes. I've been wanting to do that with my kids. I haven't gotten to yet, or I'd like to. Hey, remember the reboot of The Exorcist? Well, guess what? They're still gonna do another one because they spent too much money. And Mike Flanagan, this is what's been reported. Mike Flanagan apparently, when he finally, he's like, okay, this is the project I'm working on now, and he pitched them, and he said, uh, yeah, Tommy. Oh, I should have done a Tommy Tooby thing. Fuck, I'm sorry. Uh, my job plays me. Oh, awesome, Super Dusky. What's your job? Can I work there? That would be awesome. I love Me TV Tunes so much. Anyway, Mike Flanagan, apparently they're basically like, do whatever you want. We need the Exorcist thing, and then I reported it, but I didn't look at the Me TV Tunes thing. Sorry, Exorcist, blah blah. Mike Flanagan's doing the Exorcist. Apparently, he's ready to do the Exorcist. He pitches them. He goes, okay, I want to do it, and my wife's in the lead role. And the Universal's like, yeah, let's not do that though. Figure out something else. And then Mike Flanagan apparently is pissed off, and then we don't know what's going on with Exorcist right now. Which I'm also like, guys, you spent so much money, just let him make the. I don't even like this guy super a lot or anything. I fine, but it's just hilarious that like. Anyway, oh, Amazon warehouse. Never mind. Sorry about that, Super Dusky. Sorry. No, that's cool that they play. I mean, that's a one up for Amazon. Sorry, just like in the workroom or in the break room. Anyway, I mean, I don't know how much does it pay. I'm getting old. I don't know if I can. All right, we're going to talk more. We're finally talking about Paramount and what's going on here. And there's a lot of misinformation, which I would like to clarify, and other stuff. One is Paramount is aiming to make 15. Some of this I reported before. Some of this there was a lot of announcements, and there's been more announcements and more clarification. all that. Paramount is now aiming to release 15 movies a year. They're very much selling the theatrical angle. Break room. That's a cool break room, man. I had a break room when I worked in old folks home. We would just watch 106 in Park and BET. I still think about that break room. We just talk about music, and it was like fucking amazing, fucking amazing. Oh man, I great, great break. When you have a break room has got a good TV selection, that's a real break room. I'll tell you. I'll tell you for real, for real. I'm glad people do that. I cornbread. You're not. If I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it. I would just like they were like, well, what we would like to offer you, I'm like, just take me to the fucking break room, all right? I'll decide based on the break room. Well, it says, do you ever think Chris Stuckman could be the next Jean-Luc Godard in terms of film critic turned writer and director who has a long film career? I mean, I would say he's like a subpar Rex Reed if I was being real about it. If anyone gets that, that was a diss. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, sir. Cheers to you. Yeah, I would say Rex Reed. Hey, Myra Breckenridge, somebody likes it. All right. Yes, they're aiming for 15 movies a year. That is why they did close the Duffer Brothers deal. The Duffer Brothers, who were on a lot of lists all over Hollywood, they all wanted their big franchises to have the Duffer Brothers. The Duffer Brothers, who they did make a feature film that went to some theaters before Stranger Things, but they would like to go back to that, and they have a ton of power. Also, and this is like what more people are talking about is that Cindy Holland, who's the chair of direct to consumer at Paramount, she worked with them at Netflix, and supposedly that was part of the move. Is they're like, oh, we like that, we like her, and we like dealing with her. There is still a few Stranger Things and other properties they have at Netflix, and they will continue to do, but supposedly they will move offices to Paramount. Uh, Paramount is, and with the merger, is trying to buy up a lot of stuff and make huge deals and kind of show off. However, a lot of people have brought up that they were just sort of showing off. They haven't actually released a movie under this merger yet, and we'll see what's going to happen. But the Duffer Brothers thing is a huge deal. They are talking to Legendary presently, and supposedly the Gundam Sydney Sweeney movie doesn't actually have a studio, which I didn't realize. When I looked into it, there was no studio attached. And if they start dealing with Legendary, they could, even though I'm not sure where the public stands with her, but there is a Gundam movie. Maybe she'll be in it, and I think Paramount would get it, as well as Tom Cruise. One of the reasons they're developing Top Gun 3 is because he had that movie, The Deep or Deeper, that got axed from Warner's, and he's not as high on Warner's anymore. And if they bring him over because of Top Gun 3, they could get more development and bring back their huge movie star to Paramount, which is something they're actively trying to do. And they are working on Top Gun 3. So there's a possibility Paramount could be a bigger studio going forward. Will Okay, Will says, got a lot of Wills tonight. Speaking of Stuckman, when Shelby Oaks comes out, potentially watch out for My Name in the Credits. Was one of the original back when Crits announced. I didn't know that. Okay, I will look out. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, it does look okay. If you say it looks promising, I'll actually believe it, man. I'll actually believe it. Should I stop the flashy lights here? Are we okay, I'm gonna stop it because we're close to another. I'm gonna cheers to you. Cheers to you, man. I didn't know that. Cheers to you. Are you get a percentage of that? No, I'm joking. Sorry, I know that's not. They should though. I actually think you should. But um, the other thing is this was for real announced. A couple of people asked me, I'm spreading rumors or something. They really did say in investor meetings and stuff they're doing a Mutant Mayhem sequel, but they're also really going to do a. They keep saying live action Ninja Turtles Last Ronin. There's been sort of some speculation on that, but they said it's a studio priority. I always liked hearing about the story. I've not actually read it, but I know they're also trying to do their big franchises are going to be Transformers, World War Z, Ninja Turtles, stuff like that. So we'll see what's going on. I actually think if I was them, I would make a Mission Impossible TV show again. and have it merge with the like be like the movies in the show. I think that would actually. I'm since the movies are done. I actually sort of thought the end of the new one was that. I did check out the Morse code thing, which was fucking bizarre that they just played all of they supposedly Morse coded all of Final Reckoning today in this YouTube video, which I was like, I want to know if the Morse codes fans were like, that's bullshit. They changed something, or how would you know? They could just go beep 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 beep. Like, how would you? I'm curious how they did. Was it the script? Does anyone? I watched it. It was really like a thing, and they said we're Morse coding the whole movie. I don't know how you do that, but that's not a joke. I'm not being silly. They really did it today. All right, so this is the rumor part, but it was reported by um some Puck News people, and they did have sources, and so uh I'll give it some credence. Is that there is talk that they're talking about buying Warner Brothers, um, but are kind of settling on Legendary, or at least doing that. A lot of people think because are reading into the fact that Warner's has had, what was it, 6 movies made $40 million in a row, number one at the box office, and then they had a layoffs, which is weird, and people said that's to make it more attractive to a sale, and because Paramount's now buying up a ton of shit, are they part of that? And the fact that people are playing very loose math on this, and I want to preface that, like, there's very little like actual facts behind this, but I keep reading in Reddit, and I know like stupid John Campia talked about it and gave it a little more credence than it really deserves. But like a lot of people are acting like you combine HBO Max and Paramount Plus and make it one streaming service that would be, I think, like right under Amazon Prime, which would make it the largest of the legacy studios streaming services. But that's like one, like how much overlap is that? They never, I noticed when they go, if you combine these two, it would be this. I'm like, well, how many people have both? Like we never, most people have a couple streaming services. Like anyway, I to me, like maybe, I kind of hope they don't, because I think there should be two separate studios. I also think like I've also noticed that the people who are like, "Oh, Paramount's getting a little ahead of themselves," but let's talk about this Warner Brothers thing. I think the press like wants to talk about this because Paramount's sort of been quiet, and now it's like amped up all of a sudden, and it's like exciting. But let's see what happens. But I do think the way they're spending and acting, it's a thing they could consider. But they got to have a hit. And they got to knock it out of the park, and all that stuff. So we'll see. But the Tom Cruise thing actually makes me think the Final Reckoning, like how they're like not upset about it, makes more and more sense, because they're like, well, if we have Top Gun 3, who cares if Final Reckoning bomb? But the other thing is like I've heard from other people and read like it's more because those movies just make money on demand and on streaming and stuff was the real deal. Like they're like, we'll make it back in 10-20, like it'll be profitable. But at the same time, it's interesting. But that to my mind is they're playing real loosey goosey with a lot of math, and I don't personally agree with that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm gonna talk a little. What do we have? We're like 50 minutes. I mean, I think they have to say they're developing one. I don't think there should be a Top Gun 3. I think part of the appeal of Top Gun 2 was like I had always heard people wanted a Top Gun 2 for since I was a little kid up until Top Gun Maverick came out. And I feel like the anticipation being gone sort of ruins that. But it made so much, is like if it makes half that, it would be a huge success. So I don't know, we'll see. All right. First off, there was the Rambo prequel with Noah Centineo. It doesn't sound like a good idea. I just get the people who made what was that movie? Rebel Ridge. Like that was pretty much Rambo. Like to me, it's like Rambo. The best Rambo is First Blood. Just make a First Blood knockoff. Like just whatever. I don't. Supposedly that's happening. This I noticed didn't get as talked about, but the old boy director Park Chan Wook has been kicked out of um, basically every studio that uses the WGA, because he was writing his show, as well as his co-writer during the strike. It came out that he was, and he has been basically kicked out of the WGA, and they can't work for basically any major studio at this point. I assume he'll be fine. His co-writer, who's American, works for studios. I I feel bad for him, but it's basically like he got kicked out of the WGA for doing that. I do think like I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who probably did right. They just didn't get caught. I'm not sure like how what is he taking big meetings with the studios or something. I know people were like pencils down, but I would find it hard to just like stop thinking about a project. Like how do you anyway? There are questions I have, but it does sound like we probably won't see a studio thing from the director of Old Boy maybe ever again because he's not in the WGA, and most of the studios have an agreement to not hire people who are out of the guild. So I think I'll be curious to see what his next project is. I know Hollywood is trying to embrace him more, and that seems to not be working out anymore. HBO Max has signed the G Kids library that includes Mind Game for me. Shin Godzilla will be there on the 1st of September, as well as all their other stuff. I think this works as long as they keep. Are they keeping Studio Ghibli? As long as they have that, I think it's a good deal, and we'll see more of the G Kid stuff and be more available, and I think that'll be good. I did talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm sorry, Maximus Hardwood. All right, this is oh man, stupid Google. All right, we'll do. Where are we? I think we okay. I'll talk. As long as we stop in 15 minutes, we'll be okay. I mean, I don't know. The Park Chan Wook thing, it's like I do have a lot of questions about like to what degree was he caught, which I couldn't find in there. But he can make movies for YouTube Premium. Yeah, we'll make The Thinning 3. Didn't they make a sequel? Choose to use same powers. Anyway, that's interesting. Interesting. Where were we? Okay, here are trailers. We're gonna go through a bunch of them because I think I didn't talk about a lot of them last time. It was an accident. It looks like a really interesting foreign film trailer, which I quite enjoyed. I forgot what country it's from. I'm sorry. Anniversary, which is kind of like about this girl who like infects this family. It looked okay. I don't know. I wasn't super into that one. Good Boy, which is the trailer I think most people are talking about a horror movie from a dog's perspective when their owner gets kind of possessed. It actually looked really interesting. It looked cheap. Kind of gave me was it not a most fun year where the movie I didn't review it but I saw it where it's like from the killer's perspective a bit. I kind of thought that, but uh I I don't know. I am curious about it. It does look cheaper than I thought, but I think it'll actually but it'll be cool. But it was funny. Apparently, a lot of people have been already googling like, does the dog die in it? I I had a long thing because I will get to you in a second. I'm sorry. That a lot of people I know horror fans don't like it if a horror movie stars a kid or yeah a kid most of the time because they're like you put me in this weird position because I like watching a horror movie and people dying and I'm like watching a kid and it's uncomfortable and then the kid's not going to get hurt but you're watching this all I don't know. I had a boss who talked about that with Paranormal Activity 2 and he went on this thing. It's like I don't like being put in this position, like this fucking sucks, like all this stuff. And I do think Good Boy will have to ride that line, but it looked cool, like just on a. But I don't think they would kill the um in a violent nature. Thank you, Cornbread. No, I don't know what it'll be, but it looked interesting to me. It looked interesting to me. You know. Oh, Will says, yes, I found the story surrounding Park incredibly strange considering the HBO series came out last year, which was good and no one cared. I like that show. I don't think my wife and I finished it. Cheers to you, man. Thank you for your generosity. I liked from what I saw, but yeah, no one was talking about the thing. And it had Robert Downey Jr. as like three characters and stuff. I believe that takes us above the next $20 thing, so we'll do. Oh wait, I gotta do boop, boop. Okay. All right. What are the other? Oh, Plurbius, which is the new show from Vince Gilligan. There's not much we've seen, and it shows the uh girlfriend wife from Better Call Saul, and I'm glad she's in it. We'll see what that's gonna be. But the trailers are really like we don't really know much. Apparently, it's like The grumpiest person saving the world. So we'll see. I kept getting requests for Fallout Season 2. The trailer, it looked cool, but my one, so it looks like, is it like Full Metal Alchemist sort of, but like also like everything's destroyed but Vegas. Isn't that Six String Samurai? Like I'm very confused, but it looked neat. I don't know anything that's going on, but like that's a. I know it's a game. I don't want to keep being clueless gamer Jim, but at the same time, uh, I don't know what's. It looked cool, and Kyle MacLachlan's in it in a robot suit. Good for him, man. I do not have a dimmer in the kitchen, St. Powers. I wish I did. Um, but it looks cool. Kiss the Spider Woman is big musical with Jennifer Lopez. It looked kind of interesting, but we'll see. Um, well, it has the people in the robot suits. I don't know. What do you, I don't know. There was a trailer for The Paper, which is the sort of a spin-off of The Office that I'm like, you guys are uh I don't seems desperate NBC. And then there's the trailer of these I think I like the most was Marty Supreme. I'm actually more into that trailer than the Smashing Machine trailer. I guess I like Chalamet more than The Rock. I guess I don't know if that's a hot take, but yeah, I don't, you know, yeah. And then the swipe trailer that looked interesting as well about like the woman who I guess invited Tinder or Grinder or something. Um, that looked good as well. So I don't, yeah. I only know, yeah, I don't know anything about. I'm always like when people are like, you got to talk about this gaming thing. I'm like, okay, what's a? I know what chicken jockey is. Is that what that? Was that what that is? Anyway, sorry. So we've learned that, and apparently Ian McKellen said this, so it's actually pretty confirmed that Frodo and Gandalf will be in the Hunt for Gollum film. This will apparently take place between the Hobbit movies and Lord of the Rings. And there's talk of like Aragorn being in it, which I don't think. I mean, I think honestly, if you got Vigo back, that would make this very appealing to people. But I don't think Vigo would want to come back. I don't understand what this is. But supposedly they are trying to get Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen back. We'll see. I don't think anyone really wants more Lord of the Rings. I think it's like move on, bro, or just make animated stuff. But like, don't. You're not recapturing that magic. There is a Joni Mitchell biopic. Cameron Crowe's directing it, which that's sort of not a good idea in my mind. But they're talking about Anna Taylor Joy as young Joni Mitchell and then Meryl Streep as older Joni Mitchell. I actually saw Joni Mitchell live opening for Bob Dylan, which is pretty cool. And I like Blue a lot, and I know Cameron Crowe has that scene in Almost Famous with the kids touching the cover of Blue. But uh, I don't know. I'm like also that I think people really like 70s Joni Mitchell, but like 80s, 90s Joni Mitchell, where she has like, you know, weird jazz bassists and like all that stuff. I was like, I can't imagine. I don't know if he's able to do all that. I'm down, but I'm also like Cameron Crowe has been a mess since like as he made a good movie since Almost Famous, and even that's like I don't know. I haven't watched Almost Famous in a long time, but I can't imagine him making a good movie to me. I used to really like him when I was younger, and like Vanilla Sky is like I don't know, and then Elizabethtown was very bad, and I guess We Bought a Zoo was like the best thing he's done. Jesus, that's depressing. God, what a fall off. All right. The Oscars apparently there's talk of them going to YouTube, for real. I think honestly of them getting the streaming rights, I think that is the best move because YouTube is actually the biggest streaming service. I'm not just saying that because we're on YouTube. Almost everyone knows how to use YouTube. It's very accessible. That's something it very much has in its is something to its advantage. Not a lot of stuff are that accessible. I think it could work out for the Oscars, but here let's put it back. Yeah, I'll wait till the Oscars. But I think it could work out. But a lot of people are like, "What's the chat going to be like? What are the comments section like?" That would be very interesting. Well, when someone wins an Oscar, I'm like, "Oh man, a super chat. Let's bigs up and all that. I don't know. What are they gonna do? Um, but we'll see. I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense because as accessible as TV actually is, although there is like a TV antenna thing, which I haven't actually gotten to research. This is a whole other thing. But I don't know. We'll see. But yes, I imagine they won't have comments. They won't have a chat. But I think it probably makes a lot of sense. But I am curious if it happens. I think we'll see. We'll see. But I think it especially on Tubi. I wish it was that cool. All right. What man, Google, what are you doing to me tonight? All right, I want to talk about before I get. There's three pieces of news I want to talk about. Then we'll talk about box office a little bit, and then we'll take a break. But Terrence Stamp died this past week. He to me, he has a pretty rich film career, going from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Superman 2, Phantom Menace, legendary British actor. Supposedly, his James Bond audition was so scary and cold they didn't call him back because it freaked them out. Which is fucking awesome. I like Sam Neill's was just a bomb, but Terrence Stamps was like, I don't feel good. Let's not cast him. But I'll say that I think he's always a commanding presence, a great actor. Someone because I saw him a lot as a kid as Superman 2. But I will say the Limey, he was in that, and that I want to spotlight this one a little. It's a film I've liked a lot, but I saw it came out in '99, the same summer as Phantom Menace, which is weird to go from being in the cool indie movie and being in a movie that had the biggest marketing campaign ever in the history of the universe. Pretty much was weird for me as a film kid. It was like you can do both, and people are okay. But the Limey introduced something that we still do now. And what they did, what Steven Soderbergh did, but he used an older film that Terrence Stamp was in and used clips from that to be his past that informed his present. And at the time, um, people were like, this is probably the future of filmmaking is using like past clips and stuff to inform older films. And like, I know that was a lot of talk at the time, but now it really is, and it used his film legacy in films in London in the '60s and updated it to be a film sort of about what's happened to the boomers, and Peter Fonda was in it and stuff. The Limeys are really great, probably one of my favorite Sonnenberg films, but it says a lot about how even at that time he had a filmmaking legacy outside of the bigger superhero things, and he also um, his Zod was so good that's why people keep going back to it. you know, I think people underestimate how good he was in Superman 2 because he's not physically buff. He's not, he's not imposing. It's just like that stare and that presence about him, and he just commanded it. And I think he has a very rich filmmaking legacy. I really, really I don't know. That this was a major one for me because I grew up with him as Zod, and when I was starting to get into movies, like The Limey was big and was talked about a lot about the future of filmmaking, and and particularly about him and his legacy as a film actor. And there's not a lot now that happens a lot. Like look at what a lot of actors have done since then. So I think uh, yeah, and also that he could be in Priscilla Queen of the Desert. And, although I won't like, I've seen a lot of people like revisiting Last Night in Soho and saying it's good. I'm not. I'm not doing that. He was Jarrell in Smallville. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Oh, Will says R.I.P. Chancellor Valorum. Oh, right. I forgot that's the name from Phantom Menace. LOL. The Limey is a good Sonnenberg fix. Those I would recommend Limey. It's one of my favorites. It's been a while though. I've been meaning to revisit it. Thank you again for the super chat. The other one is the guy who did the famous 007 logo with the gun. Joe Karoff died this past week as well. I think most of us accept that as part of Bond legacy and stuff. And I think some of these logos, film logos, don't get enough respect, and I would like to respect him. as a designer, and I think he did an amazing job. Okay, so this is, I'm going to be real. I have told this to people. This is, for me personally, the biggest news of this week. For me personally. Okay, I hope you're ready. So, on MeTV2, it's on Saturday night. Sorry. On MeTV2, it's on Saturday night. I switched between MeTV2 and MeTV. And MeTV has like this Svengoolie. I like watching Svengoolie. They had Horror of Dracula on. It's an amazing movie. But then they play, Batman and Star Trek. And usually I flip between Star Trek and Duck Dodgers. But I usually have to stay on Star Trek because Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. And I'd never seen it before they started airing it. That show is garbage and ruins the whole vibe. I got Freakazoid, Duck Dodgers, the mat, like all this cool stuff to flip between. But then like Wait Till Your Father Gets Home ruins the vibe. But I heard on the MeTV Tunes new schedule that they're taking that off for Star Trek the Animated Series. So there is a world that I now live in that I can flip between this Star Trek animated show and the original Star Trek. This is amazing. I'm in love with it. I could not find the new MeTV Tunes schedule. So I don't know if I can still do this thing, but from my understanding, they're keeping Svengoolie and Star Trek and Batman. So I hope they don't. I've heard they're going a little more 80s, but yeah, I'm really yeah. I don't know. Wait till your father gets home is legit very bad. Like every time I'm flipping between it, I'm like, ooh, this is I can't even like Duck Dodgers underrated, Freakazoid really great, The Mask, yeah, but like also then I flip over to Laugh, and then they always play like cool movies. Anyway, sorry, my Saturday nights are exciting. Clearly, all right. So we'll talk about box office a little bit because it is still interesting despite it being. Will said something earlier, and I want to. They said just because theater owners are not as down with movies doesn't mean there's nothing interesting coming out. I agree. There is still interesting shit coming out, 100%. But that's just how people are feeling. There's not like a huge hit thing. Although I think uh, what's that thing? The Cat House Girl movie. I think that'll probably be bigger than people. What is it called? Cat House Girl. Sorry, it's late. Give me a break. All right. So in terms of box office, I mean it is, but it's cool. Sorry. All right. Weapons had a great second weekend. I'm a well, well, I agree with you. It does need more Adams Family. Although I just watched the Pluto Adams Family channel, which I need to blah 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 thing. All right. Anyway, Weapons had a great second weekend. It actually had the best second weekend hold for a film that opened at number one. The number one is Sinners, which had a lost only 4% on its second weekend. This lost 43.8%, which is the best hold we've had this year actually for a second weekend. So good for Weapons. Still only at 88 million. I still need to see it. It just didn't this week. It wasn't going to work out. So whatever. Freakier Fridays doing okay. Fantastic Four: The First Steps is sort of doing okay. F1 went down. What was it? 7%, which is crazy. That seems to be holding well. But I also think part of that is, and I'm not trying to be negative or shitty or something, but if you appeal to an older audiences take a little bit longer. And so you see holds for older audience movies can be a little more remarkable. And I think F1 is appealing to, I don't hear a lot of young people into F1 as much from my personal experience, but also they're opening it in IMAX and other large format theaters. That's a part of it. But I personally, I think it's that Nobody 2 did not do very well at all. I would like to see it, but I never saw Nobody 1, so I'd probably be lost. And Bad Guys 2 is really not turning out how people thought it would. I think people assumed it was going to be a huge hit this summer, and it didn't work out. And Superman, who had a less of a drop than Fantastic Four, even though it opened on digital, is still holding strong, as well as Jurassic World Rebirth, which had small drops despite the digital thing. I think the thing with the digital release stuff is like it's still expensive, and most people go, "Whoa, I don't know about that." So I think like I don't think the digital release. There's been a lot of people going on about like why would they do this? It's ring like a lot of talk of especially comic book YouTube channels and things like that. But I just am like, I think it's just like because they get a higher percentage and they can make that money. But I am curious, like, how much are they really making? Is it going to be like Wicked? Does Superman appeal to that sort of audience? Like, I noticed we haven't heard a release of like how much Superman made on digital. So we'll see, But I understand it financially why they do it. And then Shin Godzilla also made about uh, um, 1.6, which did pretty well for G Kids. Sketch is falling, but is still getting a lot of good reviews and things like that. Also, Cat Video Fest 2025. I love that this thing comes back every year, and I guess does okay. But anyway, not Dogtooth got a re-release. What? Okay, all right. 15th anniversary. Oh damn. And the Boondock Saints still okay. All right. I'm going to we're going to take a break. I'm going to do a review of TLC's Waterfalls. I kind of want to do some more music video stuff, and I thought this was a good one where it's not tied to anything, so that if it takes me a while to edit it, it's not a big deal. But I do. Was a big video for me as a kid. Um, so I just thought, why not? All right, let's. I'm going to hold on. Where is Ace the Wind Rider's pick? Where are you? Where are you? Okay. I'm going to put this up. I will be right back, and then we will do TLC Waterfalls, and then do questions, and that'll be Dogtooth double feature with Playmobil. I don't understand that, but good for you. I'll be on that note. I'll be right back, and then we will conclude the movie crap live. Okay, I'm back. Hello, Al Vasquez. I see that you are here. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I'm glad the stream has been nice. I was hoping it was good. I was like, you always worry, you know. I always want to do a good show. Oh, let's bring up the headroom. There we go. Hi. Okay. Brain rot meme compilation. Sounds cool. Okay. What was I? Oh, oh, oh. What is this? Hold on. Sorry. Oh, Will says, okay. Per example, oh, I guess this is for movies coming out. Thank you for your generosity. Rabbit Trap. Oh, I didn't get to watch that trailer today. For example, the Dev Patel horror movie about him hunting for sounds in the British Highlands and getting haunted by a cult looks awesome. Coming early September as one of the best edge. Oh my god, that sounds an awesome. Oh, thank you. That sounds an awesome. Oh, I love that idea. That sounds so like cool British horror. That's such a cool. I really actually really like. What is these fucking ads, man? Who the fuck? Okay. Anyway, fucking YouTube. You know. Sorry. uh, no, that is that. Okay. Thank everyone's telling me about cool movies. I'm gonna have to like go through. Right. Okay. We'll have to like. I'm gonna the William Elman one from earlier and this one. There, we're gonna talk about them in trailers next week. I'm gonna make that. Yeah, that sounds very weird. It sort of reminds me a bit of 28 years later, a bit, because I need to the 28 years and days and years reviews will come out maybe around October, just so I can get caught up on stuff. But that fucking sounds cool. um that okay, thank you. We'll talk about those. I haven't watched. I saw it there and I was like, I don't know why. Anyway, cheers to you, man. Thank you very much. Okay, we did cross another thing, so we'll just, and this has been good, and you guys have been very good to me tonight. So I'll just let. Is it? Hold on. Before I do it, I want to. Can I see what this looks like on the thing? Because I might just do it during the questions, since we're going to use this later. It's a little. Why is it so glowy? Is it because I did a black shirt? Okay, maybe we'll just have it be red. Or can we? You know what? Because it's waterfalls. Should I make everything blue? This is what you all really want. Is that? Can I just do blue? What is it? No, no, too much. No, go. Yeah, nobody wants it. It'll just be red. It'll just be. Forget it. Right, melted my brains. All right, let's. We're gonna talk about. Okay, I do want to do more music video stuff. And I have a specific reason why. Yeah, the blue. I think it's like I almost wore my Reptar shirt, and I thought, oh, it's too blue, and then I changed this because I thought it contrasted better, and I think that might have been a mistake. Anyway, today we are going to talk about TLC's music video for Waterfalls. This came out in 1995, which is 30 years ago. Why that matters at all, and why it matters to me, is in 1995, that was the year I really started watching MTV. There's a difference between what I was doing before, which was just watching Beavis and Butthead, and Speed Racer, or a cartoon that's on, or trying to find the Prince Batman video or something, um, which I did when I was a kid. But this was when it changed to the middle school, high school, MTV's just always on thing. And this was sort of the first video that was felt sort of like mine, because it wasn't like there's another big video of that summer which I would like to do soon as well, which is Michael Jackson's Scream with Janet Jackson. I had heard of those people before. TLC, my parents didn't know who TLC was. I never heard of them. I knew they had an album before. I didn't know that then. This felt like my first like discovery in a sense. Even though I didn't discover it, I know it was like a very massive video, but it felt like the first thing that like was part of my thing, or at least it felt that way to me. I understand that's silly, and I know it's 30 years ago, I'm old and all that stuff, but um, I also really like this video. because of the special effects. I liked the moral message at the time because I was 12. Um, but it also grabbed me because of the kind of water people silhouette versions of TLC in it. And I like the song and everything like that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This video was directed by F. Gary Gray. He is probably a much bigger director now, but at the time, like he did like Set It Off. He did other stuff in the 90s, and I think in the 90s he was a much better director. But this is maybe creatively the year that he was like really firing all cylinders, because he had this music video, which was a massive hit, and he made Friday, and I think both have been like all timers for real. With that, he very much wanted to push the elements for this. In fact, he didn't really do many music videos past this year. He was formerly a music video director. And honestly, like if you're making something like this, and this was very big, I think it was probably like it's time to get out or whatever. Also, he did Friday, and Friday is a great movie. Um, this is only the first time an African American group won Video of the Year at the MTV Video Music Awards, and is the second time a group won both Viewer's Choice and Video of the Year. And the only other time that happened was Aerosmith the previous year with Crying, and trust me, that was a huge video. Maybe one day I'll get into the Alicia Silverstone trilogy of Aerosmith videos if I really want to. But this is a song kind of like, don't go chasing waterfalls, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. But it's basically like, don't try to stay. Well, it's sort of like, don't spread your wings, you'll get destroyed, Icarus. No, but it is sort of about, two people, and then the third act is Left Eye rapping. Um, Will says, "Yikes! F. Gary Gray fall off so hard his Netflix movie Lift was so bad." I never saw that, but I mean, Straight Outta Compton has its moments. But cheers to you, man. Thank you again for your generosity. I think Boys in the Hood's the best Ice Cube movie, but I'm okay if you want to say Friday. I'm gonna object to it. Anyway, what I liked about this video was the special effects, but also the song kind of drew me because it's sort of a story song, and you get like it's very distinct, kind of telling what it's doing with the story. You basically, the first part, it is a little rough. I will give it that. It's a little rougher than I remembered it being at the time, because it very much wowed me. The first one is about this kid. He leaves his mom's house and he gets in a car, and that car's, I guess, supposed to be a drug dealer. I'm not sure if that's like his first day working with a drug dealer. So here's the thing. Like, I took this video very seriously as a kid. Rewatching it, it's a little silly, but I think the message is good. Like, don't deal drugs or have sex with people with AIDS, I guess, or have unprotected sex. But the first one is this kid. His mom's like, "Don't go in the car of the drug dealer." He drives off. Then he gets out of he's going to, I guess, give these other guys drugs, and I guess because you couldn't really shoot someone on TV, the actor Bokeem Woodbine, I think it's how you say his name. It is actually, I checked on this because I've heard there's a debate if it's not him. I saw in the comments of a YouTube video. It is him, or at least it's credit on IMDb and stuff. And then good night, Dan. Thank you for being here. He sort of just punches him, and then he just like straight up dies. I'm guessing, I don't understand how the drug dealing part doesn't really make a lot of sense, but as a quick music video thing, it totally works. But it does look like, the drug dealer's like, "Hey, this is your first day, hang out in my cool car," which I don't think is how, I've never really worked in the drug trade, but I feel like it's not how that works, but I don't know. But Bokeem Woodbine, I think that's how you say it, just punches him. He dies because he was gonna give them drugs, I guess. I'm not 100% on that, but you shouldn't do that. And then they do "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls," and his mom's all sad and there's a ghost and stuff. And then there's this guy who's having sex with this woman, and she's like, "Don't use condoms," but she like intentionally gives people these. That part also doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it seems like she's definitely knows she has AIDS. And then when he's like looking at herself, she's like hiding herself behind the magazine, and she's all like, "Hey, don't." Oh man, that sucks. I didn't see that coming. Um, but sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it is like kind of, when I rewatch it, I was like, a lot of this is I get the message in the song and stuff, but not a lot of this is. Ooh, sorry about that. As in, I wasn't as into. Um, I don't know. It didn't hold up as well as I remember. But one thing about this, yeah, that part is like, I don't know. It was obviously the one thing about this that should be mentioned. This is the first, according to many people, the first number one song to mention AIDS um at all. Although T-Boz, who mentions it, says just it has whatever it's going on has three letters. She does not actually say AIDS or HIV. But both of those things, I guess age is four words, letters. Okay, anyway, she does mention it. If supposedly it's the first number one song to do that. I will just take their word for it. I can't imagine there was another song that did that. So it was a bigger deal at the time because we were part of what was called I guess it was a pandemic, epidemic, the AIDS epidemic, I believe. So it was actually had a certain amount of civic responsibility, which was something the TLC very much was for. Now, when we get to the water part, I will say, at the time, I thought, oh, cool, it looks like T2. Even though I was a Cameron person, but I thought I was probably not Abyss because nobody likes that. But all behind the scenes stuff, if Gary Gray and also Chili herself is mentioning the Abyss a lot. Sorry. So I'm not sure. It seems like the Abyss was the inspiration for this, not Terminator 2, but the Abyss makes more sense because of these water people and stuff. This was like an $1 million video and a huge thing, but like everyone from Entertainment Tonight talked about it, MTV talked about it, it was getting network coverage, um, and all of those things. I also learned this produced by Organized Noise, and CeeLo Green actually did backing vocals for this. I never knew that before. I thought that was interesting. I think what works, and then you have Lisa Left Eye Lopez's verse. I will say about this verse is that I think in the '90s, someone like her or Tupac had very uh, uh, I would not say it's as organized of a verse or rap. Like Tupac was not very a straight like how Jay-Z or Nas or Biggie, they're very much like bars and it all rhymes and links up and it flows very well. And Tupac's flow would be all over the fucking place. He was very good at that. I think the same thing is clear with her because I was like, I hadn't listened to this and watched this video in a bit, and seeing it like weave in and out, I was like, this works, but it is just like not what you're used to now with a modern rapper. I kind of like that. Like, it takes a lot of talent to like get that to work and get people to like that kind of a flow. It's not an easy flow whatsoever at all. So I give her a lot of credit for that because I didn't notice like how crazy that verse was in terms of just like how odd the flow was, but it's like it's very hard to nail that. And this was like the second biggest song of the entire year. The fact that she did that, I think, is pretty amazing. They had the two second and third biggest songs of the year. The first one was Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. I think what really works about this video is one, it has very much a real connective tissue. It's really telling a story. It's very being very cautious and things like that, but it's also very confined and stuff. It's not as funky as the other stuff. Crazy Sexy Cool was the album of that summer of 1995. They were the biggest group in the world that summer. But I think it was because like this video surprised a lot of people. They really didn't. What was at the time a real artistic risk. I was thinking. I remember when CGI. I remember when CGI was in something. People were like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! I can't wait to see it." Whereas now they're like, "Oh, I guess they just fixed that in CGI." That's interesting. So it did take me back, like remembering like the um the plane beforehand when they zoom in and the water comes up and stuff. I like this video. I don't think it's as maybe artistically interesting as like even like they did sort of do a follow up with the Unpretty video and stuff. But I do think F. Gary really presented something that works through it. He does do a lot of different techniques and shots, and this is probably more aggressively directed than he typically is with his cinema output. And he also did Dr. Dre's Keep Their Heads Ringing and the TLC video Digging on You the same year. Um, but I like this video. I think rewatching it and really analyzing it, it does not hold up to that analysis. A lot of music videos, even when I was a kid, I noticed they were goofy and silly. And some of this like doesn't come off, I think, as much as they want to when you really think about the logistics of it. Again, it felt a lot more serious because I was 12. I'm not 12. It's been 30 years, and I just don't take it as seriously. But at the time, I can understand how a lot of this stuff meant a lot more then. But I do think TLC was always a great group together. I think I like Creep and uh, a lot of the other songs on Crazy Six School more than that. But this does feel like a perfectly constructed little pop song that does, like, I will say, the Lisa Left Eye Lopez rap feels very even now does feel very different. And I like that they like tried to do a weird sci-fi element. I don't. The one thing about music video that always works is you don't have to have a story reason for this shit. You can just be like, they're water people. And you're like, why would they be water people? And they're like, because they are. Who the fuck cares? And like, it works. You don't really question it. It's just like you're kind of there for the ride, and they come out as water people. They become TLC. They sing their song. They become water things again, and all that. But I think it was very daring for, especially an R&B group, because other than this and California Love, which I've directed before, which I reviewed, California Love, which I reviewed before, most of them were not this ambitious whatsoever. So I think like combining especially R&B with this kind of production was was pretty actually interesting for the time period for music videos, and I understand why it surprised people, because a lot of music videos at the time were more grungy and less like no one was as much as like maybe Soul Asylum's Runaway Train were not as purposely trying to make it. I mean, that isn't actually about uh, runaway children, so that but I think that they were purposely going for a message and combining it with their appeal and all that stuff and doing visual effects. I understand the appeal and how it was record breaking at the time, and it is still a very different kind of video. I always sort of like TLC. I know, hey, they're not the coolest or whatever, but I think they're a really interesting group, and I thought this was kind of one of the videos from 1995 that always stood out, not just because it was a big deal, but because it tried to take on as much as it did. Whether that's as successful as what about you? I'm with you on that. Whether that's as successful as maybe it was then as it is now, yeah, probably. But I still think as an artistic statement and as a music video, I think it, still holds up to a certain degree. It just, don't look too closely at it. Maybe just appreciate it for what it was able to do back then. All right. Yeah, I do remember people cutting off her verse, which I think is kind of not the song, but people were very weird about rap back then. So anyway, all right, we're gonna do. Thank you for doing. I don't know if that. I hope that was cool, but we'll see. I think I said everything there. I didn't know I didn't know some of this stuff. I thought was interesting, but I would like to look back on some of the bigger music videos I watched too many times. So we'll see. I also didn't realize till today I did a thing on Captain EO. I never made a video on that. I need to get on that. Oh yeah, TLC did the theme song to all that. Okay, I forgot about that. Don't look up anything about chili. That's all. I'll just say that right now. All right, I'm gonna write questions below. That's all I'll say on that. Let me. If anyone wants to do a super chat before we close out the night, now is your time. Um, I do. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do Austin. I think we have like 4 Patreon questions, and then we'll move on to the other ones. Austin says, "Hey Jim, hope you're well. Just got finished errands. I guess that's errands. Great show. I thought he had just done like went to the grocery store. I might be there or asleep. My question is, do you think Marvel can finally have Fred and Barney meet the Thing in a comic or cartoon? Also, the Shmoo has to be there. I'm surprised the lack was Shmoo in Jellystone. I don't remember seeing the Shmoo in Jellystone. I think they should do it. I'm 100% with you on that. Nathaniel Foga. I'm surprised. Today I did look up, like, there are no Fantastic Four toys, but there's so many Superman toys. I was like, that's probably why helping Superman. How could you not have Fantastic Four toys? Like, it's like a family movie. Like, how did you? I don't understand what's going on with Disney sometimes. Nathaniel Foga says, "What's a film that had a troubled production history that you felt managed to turn out great?" I mean, Apocalypse Now, Wizard of Oz, Star Wars. Um, yeah, those. I think thing is with troubled production histories, like most of the bigger, greater movies have troubled production. They didn't even have a script when they did Casablanca, so it really doesn't matter. But like, I think I forget it was Jeff Snyder that said it and other people said it. Like, if Star Wars was made today, the original Star Wars, there would be a report that Brian De Palma was laughing at George Lucas because of his movie and criticizing him openly at a diner, and that would be reported. And that's what happened. That doesn't mean Star Wars is bad. It's just like that's what happened. You know what I mean? So I think we do need to reconsider. But that is a good question. I'm sorry. I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying. I think I've mentioned that quote before, but I think it is true. Marcel Torres says we're getting some. Okay, sorry. Also, who do you think those two Marvel actors were who got heated on Doomsday set, and do you think they made up and kissed at the end? I think they absolutely kissed at the end. You're right. I could see it being. I don't want to say Mackie because he's so like controlled. So I don't. I'm curious of the current crop. I just think it's like Ryan Reynolds probably, and maybe. Uh, um, Who see now it's like who's in the MCU? I know it's not Tom Holland because his Brand New Day takes place during that movie. So I think let's say Hemsworth and Reynolds. Hemsworth and Reynolds, absolutely. I could see that. Sinram said, if it's not too personal, is there a particular movie you and your wife have enjoyed watching together with some frequency? A couple's comfort cinema, if you will. I will say we for our anniversary watch The Breakup, which I think that's a movie we saw on our 6 month anniversary. I like that movie a lot. I also think that movie handles, which seems weird for a couple to still be together and watch that movie, but I think it's just really funny, and we laughed at jokes no one else laughed at in the theater. And I think it's one of my favorites of that period. I always look at it as like the frat pack La Note, but I also think like they're really good at explaining like they had something before, which I think my problem with a lot of divorce breakup movies is you don't understand like what is being destroyed, and I think that's like a major story problem. Like you, when someone breaks up, you want to be like sad. You don't want to be like, oh, he's a dick and she's yelling all the time. And it's like you don't really, I think they get too much into that. That was a good one. I'll get to that one. That's good for you. Uh, okay. Cornbird said, should the Oscars turn off hypothetical YouTube live chat or should they keep it on to drive interaction and thusly revenue? Should they turn off this live chat to make your streams prestige? I mean, let's like, they should have like, those people who like just eat things. They should just be there. I don't know. I do think like YouTube will probably get more of that stuff because people are just on it more like naturally. So I do think like that's something the other streaming services other than like Netflix don't really have is people are just like YouTube. And I think Tubi, this is why Tubi is successful, is like if you become a search engine, people will just chill there and that's good for you, honestly. Um Same powers. Why are you so adverse to reviewing Take My Muffin, that cartoon I showed you? I don't understand this. So this is a cartoon that you get pushed on your algorithm. I think it says more about you than it does about it. Is anyone else getting this Take My Muffin? I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it. You seem very interested in me reading. I think it's like, were you involved in it? Is this because you're the only one I've heard mention this? Anyway. Al Vasquez, thoughts on Archie comics, read any favorite stories, that sort of thing. I just remember them being in those compilation things at the grocery store. And there was one grocery store when we were making knock for us, and Ian and I just kept buying them because we were like that they were there, which is not a good reason. I couldn't tell. I remember Archie meets the Punisher, so I think if like they can do that, I think that I that's one I read a couple of times because it was funny. Cornbread, you're not 12 since what? Since 30 years ago. Cinram, a censored or uncensored version of Closer Music Video by Nine Inch Nails. I I kind of like it. I don't know. I like it censored somewhat. I would do the Nine Inch Nails videos at some point too. I know they're on tour right now and stuff like that. Al Vasquez, are the Russo brothers creatively bankrupt? I don't get why people would hire them for anything. They're very much TV. I think the Duffer Brothers are a little different because the Duffer Brothers developed their things and didn't have a studio controlling stuff. But I do agree. I think people in the chat were saying before, like, they'll have a fall off similar to the Russo brothers. I don't agree as much, but I don't think any of us thought the Russo brothers would fall off as hard as they did. So you never know. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, their next thing's going to be huge, and it doesn't work out that way. I sort of have a little more faith in the Duffers than the Russos, but yeah, the Electric State, Jesus. Nathaniel Foga, think they should attempt another theatrical Sesame Street movie. Yes, but I think I would go more Follow That Bird and less the Elmo movie. If you're gonna do it, I would get like Nick Stoller, who didn't he do Dora? Whoever did the Dora and the Muppets, I would get. Yeah, I think it's Nick Stoller. He should do it. He should do it. Will says, guess this is topical, but when's your top pick for British horror? Mine's probably the 28 franchise. I did watch Horror of Dracula, and I do think that should probably be pretty high. I would also say The Wicker Man. I would also probably be those two, to be totally honest. Like Horror of Dracula is a classic, is the classic Hammer. That is the classic Hammer. Although I shot a review 20 days later. That is higher in my. That was fun rewatching. I don't want to spoil that. But I would say Wicker Man or Horror of Dracula. Horror of Dracula. I mean, to say the one thing about Horror of Dracula or Dracula with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing is that that's been remade. I've seen so many different versions of that thing, and the fact that um, I'm still like excited to watch that, even though I watched Nosferatu and Bram Stoker's Dracula and 30s Dracula, and yeah, I watched a bunch of Nosferatus recently because of the new Nosferatu. Um, says a lot about that movie that I'm still excited to see it. So I'm just gonna say Horror of Dracula because I can't think of. Well, actually, no, Shaun of the Dead's probably my favorite. Let's be let's be real. We're counting Shaun of the Dead, but I'd say Wicker Man's definitely up there. Witchfinder General is great too. Zane Powers, would you want Red Letter Media's pitch for Gremlins 3 that's about Daniel Clamp becoming president just like Trump and Gremlins hijinks happen? I forget the rest of the pitch. I like that actually. Gremlins in the White House? That's at least, if it's like different, even if it fails, it's like, oh cool, you tried, you know? It's probably just like Gremlins, but like just it's the town again, and oh, she has another Santa Claus story. Embla T, how could you not try adjusting the voice pitch of the disruptor soon? Is Ice Cube really that stupid? Oh, okay. I do want to do War of the Worlds. I just haven't. A lot of people want me to do the Nazi thing, and I don't know if I can see two because the show times aren't really lining up. But I was gonna try to watch it. Maybe I'll watch War of the Worlds first. Zane Powers, what's a movie that had a smooth development that turned out terrible? Thunderbolts, maybe. No, Thunderbolts isn't terrible. A smooth development that turned out terrible. That's a good one, actually. Oh, Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, no, that had so much going for it, and it's like, I anyone I know around that time, we were like, when people would laugh at us, like, why did you guys think that it was be good? Like, it was like Spielberg, Ron Howard, Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford, directed by John Favreau. It was like an insane group of people. You're like, there's no way this can suck. It fucking sucked. It was, and it's not even bad in a funny way. It's just like bad, which is the worst. That's why I did that joke with those playing cards. If I can find Cowboys and Aliens merch, I will wear it gladly, because it's not. No one would get what it is. Nathaniel Foga, best Ice Cube movie. I would say my top three Ice Cubes would be. I would go Three Kings, Friday, Boys in the Hood. And then of course Triple X too. No, I would say those would be. I think those would be his three. I don't know if there's like a fourth one. What was that one with Elizabeth Hurley? That one was cool. I remember when I was a kid, I watched Boys in the Hood, and I went to my parents' like basement and got a Coca-Cola and pretended I was like drinking a 40, and it's embarrassing. It's cute, but it's embarrassing. I was like 11, and Boys in the Hood was on like TV or something. I remember feeling like I was really tough. No, everyone was asleep. It was just me drinking a soda, watching Boys in the Hood, and then I think it's like him and whatever him and Elizabeth Hurley were in. Anyway, sorry. Um, Cornbread. I don't think anyone knew that. See, it's an exclusive. Cornbread. Do toys not matter anymore? Is all you need to do is put your thing into the Fortnite computer game. I will say this about it. Since I have kids, they do matter. If you have a good toy, it can really go far because they'll like hold that thing and love, forever and play with it. I do think it matters, and particularly with the things that are appealing to kids. Not having like a stretchy Mr. Vanta. I was really surprised the lack of toy. I think they sort of knew what was up, maybe. I don't know. Can you explain the phenomenon of schoolgirls being infatuated with their male teacher role models? I don't know. Oh my god, I didn't know there's all these super chat. I'm sorry. Let me do these and then we'll go back. No, I don't really know. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. To be 100%. Bloxy, I'm sorry I'm late. I was at a metal concert. That is a fucking metal way to say it. So cheers to you. Austin with a $1 super chat. Thank you very much. And sorry I missed all these. Will, did Cowboys and Aliens have a smooth production? That script was written and reworked so many times before its release. Well, Spielberg was like guiding it, so cheers to you, man. And apparently, like, either the time they admitted they kind of got away with that because Spielberg was there, and I think like that definitely made a difference. I think. I thought, I mean, written, but that was the only one I could. I get maybe like um what was that, the J.J. Abrams one that Spielberg also produced? What was that, the Super 8? Yeah, that, man, that's gotta suck for him because I've heard the rumor that he was pissed off that Stranger Things had, but he like sort of had this same very similar thing and like nobody cares anyway. Oh no, hold on, you guys deserve the, hold on, the blinky lights for all your support tonight. Sorry about that. Okay, let's just go through this. It is getting late, but I want to try to get everyone's question. um Al Vasquez, should Ryan Reynolds stop with the Green Lantern joke? Some DC folks are tired of being made fun of it. Would like the characters from it to have a second chance at the silver screen. Well, there is that Green Lantern show that's coming out, but also I think like George Clooney always makes Batman and Robin jokes. I think there is a point where like you should stop, and they both do it too much, and it's like not as. It's like, I do agree, you lose the appeal. Like it's funny when you're like, haha, he mentions this movie sucks, but it's like, Tanya Foga, how are you feeling about Brand New Day being so open with footage that has been shot? It's fine for right now to me. So, Embla T question: what the hell happened to Black Adam? Did it ever come out? I did like. Sorry, that was what I caught. That's a good one. It didn't. No one remembers it. How long of a walk was the long walk? I forget. Don't they say it's? I think pretty long. I was like, I could do that, and then they're like, when you watch the trailer, I'm like, I don't think it would do that actually. Same powers. Why was there no push for release the train cut and protesting the new Fantastic Four? Why was the release the train cut Twitter can't remain dormant? I did notice there was nobody was revisiting that one, which really talks to nobody liked it. Nathaniel, do you think video game movies are at the place comic book movies were in the 2000s? I do agree. I think they're actually maybe mid 2000s. I think you're going to see a lot of that over this decade, but it's going to be different because they don't own a studio and they don't want to. So it's going to be a very different thing. They're just going to pick and choose studios. Cornbread, did you hear the Alan Cumming Day yesterday that he had all his scenes filmed isolated on green screen and was fed fake character names for all his Doomsday dialogues? Jesus. I really am a little worried about those movies. We'll see. Crunkmeister, hello. Is Ren and Stimpy returning? Probably not, unfortunately. I like the old show. I wouldn't mind reviewing it at some point. Okay, I got it. I know that my Take My Muffet is a part of an NFT scheme. Be enough for you to watch it? No. Crunkmaster, I haven't heard any updates, but we'll see. Least favorite serial killer trope, same powers. I just like that they're like have any. I kind of like it when they're just crazy. I don't like it when they have like an explanation. Will you talk more about Fallout, please? Your perspective onto the franchise is magical. I need more of your mind. I just don't. I don't know. I was like, when people were like, you got to talk about it. I was like, what am I gonna? It actually looks cool. I do like when future stuff has like interesting worlds and stuff. And I will say, when I looked at the trailer, I was like, this looks cooler than like most stuff that's just like it's dark because they're serious. And this looked like colorful and interesting, and that I will agree with. Um, Al Vasquez, will the new X Men save the MCU? I think the first one will be big if they do the cast and get the. I don't like that they got the Thunderbolts guy. I think that's kind of a boring choice. But other than that, Cornbread's the Duffer Brothers hater. Can you tell Austin to stop bullying me anytime I bring up Dog Walker during movie nights? No, I mean, maybe like a little less, but you can still bully him a little. Sorry. Um, Everybody, okay, maybe I should watch. I'll watch War of the Worlds first. Do you think we'll ever get any new Aqua Teen media in the future? I probably not. What about the look up? I have a Cowboys and Aliens playing cards video. I literally show everyone. It's not a joke. Search my name, Cowboys and Aliens playing cards. I think anyway. Uh, Emblity, of course, I'm the disruptor. What are you talking about? I was talking about the. Okay. Where are we? Okay, we're almost at the end here. Sorry, I wanted to get to everybody. Super 8's fine. It's just like kind of. I think there was a lot of hype and it didn't. I think Abrams in general, there was a lot of hype and it didn't work out. Has there ever been a Luba Luba bus? I don't know what that is. Is that a Labubu? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. Sure. Can Spider-Man One More Be Day not be that bad if Stanley liked it? If uh, sure. Are you going to review the Sausage Party show, Austin? Probably not. I don't I'm happy that Sausage Party happened, but I wasn't like in love with the movie or anything. Why spend $1 billion just to make Doomsday? I asked Bob Iger. Austin, we can ban Spoonie Talk on the Discord, and I will be surprised if you know who Spoonie. I sort of know. I'm aware there is a Spoonie. Do I know who that is? Fuck no. All right, this has been a really cool stream. I want to thank you all. Oh, Labubu. What was the Labubus? I don't understand why adults have the Labubus. I'm confused about that. I don't think. I'm not against it. I'm just like confused why people. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things, so it's probably something like that. Can you enforce the Snoopy talk? Well, what Snoopy? Yeah. Don't talk about Snoopy as much. All right. Let's. I should probably end this. It is very late. Maybe I should write down. I also need to write down what the longest, officially the longest stream. We need to have a top 10, whatever on post a list on the Discord. I need to do that. Maybe I'll do that at some point tomorrow. Anyway, I want to thank for Super Jets, Javier Partello, Will, Will, Willie Melman, Will, Zane Powers, Will, Will, Black Sax Wiggle, Austin, and Will. Thank you very much for the Super Chats. You guys give me a lot of hope and give me a lot of energy, and it's very awesome of all of you. Now you can talk about Snoopy. Snoopy rules. Cheers to everyone. I am not 100% sure when the next stream will be. I will give you when I have. I try to if once I know, I try to let everyone know. Uh, but I'm not sure exactly. I'll let you know. It might be a little loosey because we have people staying with us and stuff, but I'll try to figure it out and I'll let you know. However, the next thing will be root removal. I think it might be Friday. But anyway, thank you all very much for your support. Thank you for watching tonight. You guys all surprised me with all this love. I feel very honored and all that stuff. Thank you all very much. You guys have a good night. Watch some cool movies. Don't give up on movies because it's August. There's so cool stuff out there. And watch, I hope you like the videos. Have a good end of your summer. And I will see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. All right, peace. Have a good night, all.